Good day, everyone. I am Meryl Catherine Alver, and our given topic is all about GMO or genetically modified organism, together with Kimberly baillo. So, what is GMO? A genetically modified organism is an animal, plant, or microbes whose DNA has been altered using genetic engineering or techniques. Rosalie Ilasos, a former overseas Filipino worker in Singapore turned a farmer in 2001. Ms. Ilasos volunteered for demonstrating her field. Ms. Ilasos was volunteered for demonstrating her field. BT corn yielded for 7.2 tons per acre, as compared to a regular yield of 42 tons per hectare. So their study was no insecticide needed. The study of Rosalie Ilasos is the one success story of genetically modified organisms. In GMO, it has genetic engineering. So genetic engineering was coined by Jack Williamson, author of the science fiction novel Dragon's Island. This was the years before actual research findings in the DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid role in heredity and its structure. Double helix of Watson and Crick were published. The general process of genetic engineering is the deliberate manipulation of organisms' genes, where it may involve transfer of genes from other organisms. In 1973, an antibiotic-resistant E. coli bacteria was created. In this research, it has an ongoing research using genetically modified male mosquitoes, a pest control over female mosquitoes carriers of Zika virus. Genetically modified organism is the term used for an organism created through genetic engineering. The World Health Organization, or WHO, defines GMO as an organism, either plant, animals, or microorganism, in which the genetic material or DNA has been altered in a way that does not occur naturally by mating or natural by recombination. So the development of GMO was perceived to help the advancement of technology for the benefit of humans in different industries like agriculture or medicine. GMOs in food and agricultural industries. The Center for Ecogenetics and Environmental Health, or CEEH, identified the following roles of GMOs in the food and agricultural industries. So there are 6 GMOs in the food and agricultural industries. One is pest resistance. So pest resistance is genetically modified plants to resist certain pests. Example, BT corn, the DNA or genome of the BT corn has been modified with the gene of Bacillus thuringiensis, a soil bacterium, and that produces proteins which is toxic to corn borers or worms. So the second is virus resistance. So virus resistance is genetically modified plants to resist certain pests. An example of this is GM papaya or rainbow papaya. The papaya ring spot versus PRSV is known to be detrimental to papaya plants. The protein of PRSV was introduced to the papaya plant through plant tissues, which turned out to be resistant to the virus itself. To the effect was like the vaccines humans have against the measles or influenza virus. So the third one is herbicide tolerance. So genetically modified plants to tolerate herbicide. An example of this is Roundup Ready for soybean. Glyphosate, an herbicide for weeds, was introduced to soybean, making it tolerant to the herbicide itself. Farmers then can spray the herbicides killing the weeds but not the soybean. So the fourth one is fortification. Fortification, genetically modified plants fortified with certain minerals. An example of this is the golden rice. Beta-carotenes, a precursor of vitamin A, was introduced through biosynthesis genes to the rice, making the rice grains fortified with vitamin A. The fifth one is cosmetics preservation. So, cosmetics preservation is genetically modified plants resist and natural discoloration. An example of this is Arctic apple. The apple variety was genetically modified to suppress the browning of apple due to superficial damage. So the last one is increased growth. Increased growth are genetically modified organism that has higher yield in growth than normal species. So an example of this is aquavantage salmon. A gene from ocean pout, an eel-like fish, was introduced to Pacific Chinook salmon, making a salmon grow faster than its normal life. So GMOs in non-food crops and microorganisms. So one is the flower productions. GMO in the flower productions are seen in modified colors and extended base life flowers. So the second is paper production. Modified characteristics of trees for a higher yield of paper production. So the third is pharmaceutical production. Modified plants to produce pharmaceutical products. And the third is bioremediation, use of modified plants that can assist in bioremediation of polluted sites. So the fifth is enzyme and drug production, use of modified microorganisms that can produce enzymes for food processing and medicine. So the last one is GMOs in medical field. So genetic engineering is playing a significant role from the diagnosis to treatment of human-dreaded disease. It helps the production of drugs, gene therapy, and laboratory research. So these are the benefits of GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. So the first one is higher efficiency in farming, increase in harvest, control in fertility, increase in food processing, improvement of desirable characteristics, nutritional and pharmaceutical enhancement, reduce the use of fertilizers and pesticides. So it has a potential risk of GMO. One is, since genetic engineering is still a young branch of science, there are inadequate studies as an effect of GMOs to humans and environment. So the second is genetic engineering promotes mutations of organisms which long-term effects is still unknown.